Have you ever felt this weird disconnection from the things you used to absolutely love? It's a really personal and, honestly, a kind of quiet feeling that a lot of us go through. This sense that the enjoyment and purpose you once had has just vanished. We're going to dive into what that's all about. Wow. I mean, that's the line that kicks this whole thing off, and it just hits you, right? It pulls you right into this feeling of a huge, profound loss. And we're not talking about losing your keys or something. We're talking about losing a piece of yourself. It's that really jarring feeling of looking in the mirror and just not recognizing who's looking back. So, where does a feeling like this even start? For the person who wrote this, it wasn't some slow, gradual fade. Nope. It was more like a switch flipped. Suddenly, all the joy was gone. The things that used to make them happy now just feel hollow. I mean, think about that. A music festival. That's supposed to be the peak of fun, right? A place where you can just let go and have an amazing time. But for this person, it just became a giant, loud reminder of what was missing. Instead of feeling recharged, they left feeling completely drained. And this is where it really stings. It's not just that you're not having fun, it's that you're watching everyone else have the exact kind of fun that you remember having. You suddenly feel like an outsider looking in on your own life, like a ghost at your own party. So this brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. This isn't just about being a little bored or feeling sad. It's way more complicated than that. It's this strange paradoxical feeling that the author just nails. They call it wanting to want. And that phrase is everything. It's this incredibly frustrating gap between your brain and your gut. Your head tells you that you should want to go for a walk, or call a friend, or pick up that old hobby, but your heart just feels nothing. The desire for the desire is there, but the actual feeling, it's gone. And this just creates this painful split inside. The author can remember this other version of themselves, this vibrant, outgoing person who had a purpose. But the person they are right now feels quiet, withdrawn, and totally aimless. It's like being haunted by a past version of you. Now, a feeling like wanting to want doesn't just stay in one little box. The author talks about how it's almost like a virus. It just slowly spreads and starts to infect every single corner of their life. And look, it's not just the big, exciting stuff. This feeling seeps into all the simple, everyday pleasures. Watching a movie, playing a game, even just taking a walk. When the color drains out of these little moments, the whole world just starts to look gray. It's a classic sign of something called anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure, and it can become totally all-consuming. Okay, so when you feel like this, you obviously start asking yourself, why? Why is this happening? So the author starts digging, trying to find the source of this emptiness, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. That's the big question, isn't it? Was there one single moment, like a turning point, or was it more of a slow burn over a long time? Well, the author has a pretty strong hunch. And it seems to point back to one major thing, their job. They identify work as the place where that motivation, that sense of enjoyment, really started to leave. It's a huge reminder of how much what we do every day can shape who we are. And then you pile this on top, the feeling of being stuck while it seems like everyone else is moving on and up. That feeling of being left behind, well, it's a direct pipeline to feeling like you have no purpose. But here's the thing. It's not just about what's happening on the outside. The author points to this internal voice, this self-defeating monologue that basically shuts down any chance of feeling good before you even get started. And here's what that trap looks like. You get a little spark of an idea. Hey, maybe I'll go to the park. But then the cycle kicks in. Step 2, nah, I won't even enjoy it. And then step 3, so what's the point? It's a vicious loop that keeps you right where you are. So what's powering this whole engine of self-defeat? It's anxiety, a constant worry about the future, this deep fear of being miserable for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and that nagging feeling that you're falling behind. It's a perfect storm of internal and external pressure. So after all that, where do you go from here? After laying out the problem so clearly, the story takes this really subtle but super important turn. The focus shifts away from the problem itself and onto the act of just talking about it. This line right here, it's so powerful. Right in the middle of feeling completely lost and defeated, the author finds this little glimmer of pride. Not in solving the problem, but just in putting it into words. It just goes to show you how much courage it takes to articulate these messy, painful feelings. And that's really the big insight here, isn't it? There's no five-step plan to happiness. The real takeaway is that sometimes the first step toward getting better isn't doing anything, it's saying something. Just voicing the struggle is a huge, meaningful, and incredibly difficult first step. So let's end with that thought. We live in a world that's always yelling at us to just do it and to hustle harder. But maybe, just maybe, the bravest thing you can do is to stop, take a breath, and just say, this is where I am right now. Because sometimes just admitting you're in the pit is the very first step to finding your way out.